All right, so Ron Paul has released his plan for America finally, um, and it's been interesting. Ron Paul was on Meet the Press this Sunday, and I was kind of surprised to see that on Google News, his name was up there in the search results where it shows like some of the top searches for the day. And of course, I clicked on it, and the very first article was a Huffington Post article, and it talked about how Ron Paul wanted to end government student loans. Um, that was their story they chose. I guess that was it. Because I had just watched the interview, and that was about the last thing that I thought about. About the biggest thing I thought was, wow, what a refreshing candidate who's not just telling us what we want to hear, but is telling people a way to get to what they claim they want. They claim they want cuts in government spending, but when you try to give it to them, the media will immediately demonize anyone who dares offer real cuts or a tangible solution without bullshitting you. See, that's the sad reality that we're in. It's partly the people, but it is also the mainstream media. They expect there to be anger over a political candidate offering such what they would call draconian solutions. I don't know where the truth is in this. I don't really care. But in on Meet the Press, that's not something Ron Paul's running on. He's not running on a platform of ending student loans tomorrow. I don't even from what I remember, it's not even in his plan. He was just asked that question by progressive David Gregory. So I understand progressives are going to be progressive and they're going to want big government plans, and so that's what they do. But Ron Paul doesn't want big government. He wants a small federal government, and he's trying to convince people that they should want a small federal government too, because in the coming months, as the European banking crisis begins to unravel and then it starts to spread here. There was a story out about how Bank of America was basically putting their derivatives over onto the Fed so that it could access the discount window and then also, I believe, FDIC insurance. And when you look at that, the real question I have is why are they doing that now? And the Fed, of course, is like, well, we want to be able to do this to provide some relief. And the Treasury is like, oh no, you didn't. So there's some issues going on there that's really fascinating. And if you notice that this is a huge issue, I mean, this has the potential to be a huge issue. And the mainstream media has been silent about it. I haven't even seen anything on I mean, I haven't really watched CNBC the last few days, so maybe it's on there. But I saw an article on Bloomberg, and then as usual, us 9/11 truthers on the web, we're the only ones that seem to find it or give a shit about it. The Bank of America's derivatives, it's like, a notional value of $75 trillion. Now, of course, that's not saying all of that would go, uh, put the FDIC on the line for that. But how does that work? If Bank of America goes under, we could be on the hook for 15 trillion. I have no idea how that works. And it doesn't really matter because in the end, we shouldn't. That's not the function, or is it? That shouldn't be the function of the United States government, to steal from its citizens in order to bail out fucking banks. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. The whole system is just a fucking joke. It's an immoral system. It's corruption, and then it's just encouraging, more corruption, more people wanting a bigger piece of the pie, and that's what these Occupy Wall Street protests largely were, although they've been sort of hijacked by honestly libertarians and some other people. We're well-meaning. We want to try to educate them, but I hate to tell you, some people just aren't like us. Some people don't want to be educated. Some people don't want to do the right thing. They just want for them, me. That's what they want, and so which is cool if you don't steal to do it. I mean, is that too much to ask? I don't know. I mean, I'm not entirely against. I mean, like there's Occupy Wall Street, which I'm against, but then there's Occupy DC, which I'm for. I mean, that's the best way to say it. And let's be honest here. It started as a progressive movement. That's what it was. Um, Granted, they were very ignorant, about how their road to get to wherever it is the hell they want to go. Um, because it's better when you don't have solutions. When you just bitch and complain, it's easier. Although it doesn't really achieve much. So I'm kind of on the tough side on this whole Occupy Wall Street movement because I don't really fit. I'm a pretty big guy to not be fitting on one side or the other, but I'm not going to take a position on it. It's like the Tea Party. I initially took support of the Tea Party, and that bit me in the ass. The last couple of months, I've realized I don't want to have anything to do with the Tea Party. Um, it's bullshit. But things can change. When Ron Paul released his plan, his economic plan to cut like $1 trillion from the deficit, I believe in 1 year, and balance the budget in 3 years. Even Rush Limbaugh actually came out in support of the plan, which made my head explode. See, indigestion. So, and he, of course, Rush Limbaugh claimed it was his plan. So fucking arrogant. But I was like, I'm still not sure about that. I mean, does he understand that it's talking about bringing our troops home? I mean, it's gutting the Defense Department budget. That's a huge. I want to say it's half of the trillion, like 500 billion, or maybe even 600 billion of it is gutting the Defense Department or militarism. And I would assume a lot of that's bringing the troops home from Germany, Afghanistan, Iraq, however many is there still there, Uganda, Iran when we go to Iran, and we will be in Iran. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if any of you have seen the video of Wesley Clark in 2007 talking about the list of countries that we were going to take out after 9/11, and Libya was on that list. On that list, I believe, was Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Somalia, which I thought was kind of interesting. Of course, now we're in Uganda. I think I'm getting confused. It's like you can't even keep track of this shit. Iran was on the list. I forget all the names, but I think 3 of them were already off the list, and we're working on Iran with that story with the guy trying to kill the ambassador, which made absolutely no fucking sense. I mean, it made no sense why the Iranians would do something like that. To me, it's absolutely asinine. It would achieve nothing. To me, it's just total bullshit. It's a sad situation. I'm sitting here. I have to choose between trusting my own government, United States government now, and Iran. You know what? Can I say neither? Because I don't trust either one of them. But there's so many things going on. The situation in Libya, where this is the thing that plays out repetitively. They're gonna get rid of Muammar Gaddafi. Why? Well, because now he's a bad man, and people are rising up. Well, who was funding the rising up? We were. Where did they get those guns from? Okay, we were funding it. Why were we funding it? Because he was trying to do the gold dinar. Guess who else was trying to do the gold for oil, whatever the hell they're talking about? Basically rejecting the dollar. Saddam Hussein. Guess who else has talked about this? Iran. Gee, it's almost like it has more to do with that than anything else. And then another thing is, everyone was like shocked when they found Muammar Gaddafi, and they just fucking killed him. They're like, whoa, hey, we need to do an investigation. I'm like, wait a minute, why do we need to do an investigation for? I mean, we killed Osama bin Laden without thinking about it. I mean, we killed Anwar al-Awlaki. Why not kill this guy? I mean, what's the difference? If we can do it, why can't they do it? Now, initially, actually, they weren't even that surprised by it. It doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I see that, and I'm like, well, of course they're going to do that. They don't believe in democracy. The people in the Middle East do not believe in democracy or the rule of law. Well, they do believe in the rule of law. They believe in Allah, the Quran, as the rule of law. They don't think of it like we used to. I guess I should say, because we don't think of those terms anymore either as a nation. And I think that's what's sort of distressing me as I look around what's going on around the world. The United States now, through Obama, and Republicans and Democrats, we're starting to embrace mob justice and mob rule. And if the United States is doing that, God help us. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Because, as things become financially unstable, and now you have a president who can assassinate United States citizens, it's like it just, you don't know what the limit is. I don't know where it's going to end. Now people can say, well, you're being extreme, you're being paranoid. Well, that's fine, but then what? What about the fact that now a president can kill United States citizens? And if he can get, I guess, the FBI to agree with him, I don't quite know how the process works. I don't even know if the FBI has to agree with them. I don't think it doesn't go before a judge. So they just label you. They could just label you a terrorist. So they, for my videos, they could label me a terrorist because I'm against our foreign policy, and I speak out against it. And I say it's wrong. It's immoral. So I have facial hair, and so I guess I'm dead. They just with me they just say it's a heart attack, and everyone would be like, yeah, that makes sense. So anyways, I'm at the 10-minute mark. See ya. Actually, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. How do I turn it off?